What is going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday evening, Tuesday before Christmas. Hope everybody is hanging in there. Let me get the thumbnail out of the way, and we'll dive into this. There we go. Hi, everybody. I haven't even looked at myself yet. Kind of last, I should have prepared better for this. We were ready to roll, and then a few things happened, and we were late a few minutes. But anyway, thank you for joining. I appreciate you taking some time to hop into the BALLCAP Nightcap. Last week, we had the first episode. It went very well. We had a whole bunch of Davids, so I'm expecting no less than 3 or 4 Davids. Otherwise, this will be a disastrous live stream. So we're looking for the Davids. Thank you for coming in. I do want to say we did a poll earlier today. We're going to keep a lookout for these guys. I'm going to put them on the scroll at the bottom. ST Stin 123 and Jonathan Bills, when you are here, I want you guys to let me know, because we did the poll earlier. I asked you guys what you wanted to talk about, and you two came up with a couple of content pieces that you wanted to talk about. So I want to get to that. So when you are here, comment. I'm going to leave this up, and I want to get to you guys. The NBM videos. I'm a big Jays fan. Hey, buddy. Thank you. Welcome in. We're going to spend some time talking about the Jays. We're going to spend some time talking about DJ LeMahieu. That was another one of the top results on the poll. I think that was the top subject for the poll. That's what people want to talk about. That's why it is first on the lineup. Let me get my banner situation right here. I want to get this right. I want to make this a scroll. I'll get rid of that. Get this one going. There we go. Okay. So here we go. We are rocking and rolling. Austin, welcome in. Hope the weather's treating you kind up there in Canada. I know it can get kind of cold depending on how far up into Canada you are. So hope all is well again as we get close to the holiday season. Just letting a couple other people get in here. We're going to dive into this thing. Let's see here. That's what I want that to do. Scroll. There we go. All right, again, Stin 123, Jonathan Bills. When you're here, let me know. All right, Anthony Ranger, Blue Jays all the way, right on. So we have Blue Jays fans here, and I love it. I feel like we're in a safe space right now. Austin, right? You gotta do what you gotta do to keep warm. I used to live in way upstate New York. We were about 20 minutes from Kingston, Ontario, and it was, this time of year, layers. You got to do it. So let's dive into this. Now, for anybody who's new to this, listen, I got the lineup here. That's sort of the roadmap that we're going to follow. We are going to touch on all of those items. Hey, Bryce, I'm sorry. Bryce, what's up? What's up, brother? So we got the lineup. We're going to try to stick to this. But I'd like the chat to run the call. You guys are I'm going to try to keep up with as much of it as I can. And you guys are going to be a key component to this. So comment, keep them coming. Let me know what you're talking about. I have, as we get later into this, after we get to the Reds, when we get to Iron Man, I'll tell you guys about that in a minute. And the 2021 projections, it's going to be, I'm going to be looking for your feedback on that. So stay close to that. But let's get into the first item on the list. And it is DJ LeMahieu. What's going to happen? Is he going to go back to New York? Is he going to come north to Toronto, throw the long johns on and stay nice and warm? I mean, we don't know if he's going to be able to get into Toronto. He might have to hang out in Buffalo for a little bit, but this is what's out there, right? What's going to happen? Which way is DJ LeMahieu going to go? I think him and Springer are dominating the headlines right now. Passan was out yesterday, quoted as saying that the Jays have emerged as a significant player in the sweepstakes for DJ LeMahieu, and they are perhaps the biggest threat to him re-signing with the Yankees. Look, he wants to stay in New York, fine. The Blue Jays are probably going to play in Buffalo to start the 2021 season, depending on how COVID goes. So we'll see how that plays out. But hey, if DJ wants to stay in New York, we got you. So it is going to be interesting to see how it all plays out with LeMahieu. Does he go to Toronto? Does he go to New York? How the Yankees have let it get to this spot is beyond me. he wants 5 years, $125 million. Give him the money. Just give him the money if you're the Yankees. If you're a Yankee fan, you have to be disappointed that it's not been a smoother offseason with DJ LeMahieu. He's one of your best players, led the league. So you gotta just, you got to do it. But if you're not going to do it, Blue Jays fans, yes, we will gladly take DJ LeMahieu. I think that is going to be, the Blue Jays can swing that a great deal. Bo Bichette wants him. Bo Bichette is out there saying he's a best hitter. He'd be the number one target if he was running the show. This is what the lineup would look like, I think, with DJ LeMahieu on the team. I think you leave Biggio at the top, followed by Bichette, and then you slide DJ into that 3 spot that does a few things. That gives you opportunity for DJ to drive in a bunch of runs, keep the inning going, and get on base for the 2 guys behind him, the 3 guys behind him. That is going to be key. So you stick him into that lineup, and that lineup all of a sudden looks really long. Blue Jays fans, we got a bunch of you in here. Randall Grichuk was nice last year. Teoscar Hernandez looked like he was hitting that potential. And I got to think that if they're hitting 6th and 7th in this situation, this is going to be a tough lineup to get through. Austin, you know what? I've thought about that. I put Vladdy at 3rd and DJ at 1st only because Vladdy's busting his behind to try to get in shape. He wants to get back to 3rd. Montoyo has said that they'll give him the opportunity. DJ can play anywhere. DJ might play 2nd and Cavan might play 1st, or Cavan might play 3rd. Who knows? They're going to be all over the place. So I think that, you'll probably see DJ play everywhere but short. You'll see Cavan play everywhere but short. Vladimir, they might have Vladdy go back and forth between 3rd and 1st. Montoyo likes to move pieces around. He likes guys that are versatile. DJ fits that profile. So I think that there's got to be, a great opportunity. This would be a great lineup for DJ LeMahieu to hit into. Let's see here. Darcy Sweeney, I'd love the Birds to get some high-profile free agents. They're definitely working on it. They're in on everybody. NBN videos. My friend's a Red Sox fan. He thinks the Red Sox are better than the Blue Jays. I mean, they were a few years ago, and they won a World Series. It's times are changing. Darcy Sweeney, it'd be awesome to add some nice pieces without giving up anything but money, right? I mean, DJ, unlike Springer, right? Lindor. They talk about Lindor to the Blue Jays. That's a trade, right? DJ would be money. Luke Nix, I hate to say it, but I believe LeMahieu is using the Blue Jays as leverage. He very well could be. If I was in his position and I really just wanted to get back to New York, it's not unthinkable. I actually thought about that earlier today. That's a very good point. Let's see, Austin. DJ's a great fit. Let's see. He thinks now, well, we're going to talk about Boston a little bit. One of the guys that was on here, I believe it was Stin123, and want to talk about Boston. We're going to talk about Boston a little bit later if he hops in. I don't think they should drop Gurriel. I want Gurriel to be a part of the future for sure. If we get Springer, what happens to Grichuk? Grichuk might be on the way out, Austin. That's in my opinion. I think they try to swing Grichuk out, or you'll have 4 outfielders at that point, and one of them's going to have to DH. I think Tellez is on the bench, which I don't think too many people would be disappointed about that, though Tellez did have a nice season last year. Would the Lindor trade happen? I don't think a Lindor trade is going to happen, Addison, until these big free agents are off the board. I think the Blue Jays want to see if they can get DJ. I think the Mets want to see if they can get Springer, and vice versa, because both teams are in on both of those guys before a trade happens for Lindor. Because once, let's say DJ goes back to New York, let's say Springer signs with the Mets, then I think I think the Blue Jays become a big player for Lindor. I think that is a real opportunity there, but they're going to have to wait. And I think they want to wait and see, because why, if you can get DJ LeMahieu, that might answer a lot of the questions that you have. I mean, what we saw the lineup, once you have DJ LeMahieu, you're kind of good, right? I mean, you're okay with a situation like that. So they really might not need to mess around with Lindor if they get LeMahieu. That just might be their philosophy, because they, if they get DJ, that's going to take their salary for 2021 up close to $100 million. They'll be knocking on the door. They're at like 66 now, so they'll be up to, they have to pay him 25. So, they're going to be up at that 90 mark. And, how far over 100 do they want to go? I'm sure they're ready and willing, but they got to get some pitching too. It can't just be DJ and Lindor, and then you roll out there with Roark and Thornton and those guys. So they got to think about the pitching. Elliot, hello, welcome in. So the DJ LeMahieu situation is interesting. Now, I just, everybody who's excited about DJ, he was great last year. If he comes to Toronto, I would expect a slight step back from some of the numbers that he's put up with the Yankees. He's not going to hit 360 again. Diving into his analytics, his hit rate, his home run per fly ball rate, all of that stuff really elevated over the last year or two. Now, either that's his new normal and he's just going to be superhuman for the next couple of years, or that'll come down a little bit. But even if it does come down a little bit, he's still going to be a fantastic player, and at that 3 spot would be a great piece. And he's a professional hitter. Like, I kind of want Vladdy and Bo and Cavan, as they mature, to be around guys who've been in baseball for a while and are professional hitters. I think that could only help their growth and their maturity as hitters. So DJ would just be a fantastic addition. And if one of your brightest stars want him, I think you try to go and get him. Yankees are going to fall behind Jays. It very well could. You could see a shift in the balance of power. That's for certain. I think the Angels should try their hardest for Bauer. The Angels need to do something. This is their opportunity. Now, they could go get Sonny Gray or Blake Snell in a trade maybe, and I think get a better pitcher than Trevor Bauer, but they have to do something, and Bauer is out there. You don't have to trade to get Bauer. You can just go get Bauer. So Bauer would be a good move, Zachary. Let's get to Elliot. Arenado third, Lindor short, LeMahieu second, Polar Bear first. So hey man, if they back up the truck and they're going to mortgage the future, there you go. Gritching and Bauer are buddies. Trading, we don't get Bauer. Pitching is everything. The pitching is important. What hat are you wearing? I am wearing the Blue Jays new blue today. Blue Jays fans. See, I just throw it back because it's just a little bit more comfortable. Rayu, and NBN videos. Rayu, elaborate. Rayu's great. Rayu. I was a little skeptical last year before they did the deal. I just felt like the Jays were another year away, but they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing more than I did. So let's get into Mets taking way too long for us. I mean, I will say David, good. We got a David. I was saying at the beginning of this, if we don't have at least 3 or 4 Davids in the stream, I will be disappointed after last week. It was David. If we don't have a whole bunch of Davids, then I'll be disappointed tonight. Worried that was Yankees hat? No, I don't own a Yankee hat. I don't own. I own a lot of different hats. I own a Dodger hat, a Brewer hat, a Nats hat, Orioles hats. I own a bunch of hats. I do not have a Yankee hat. I did when I was 9, and when we moved to upstate New York, my parents got me a Yankee hat, and that was but that was it. I outgrew that hat. Do you have a Ryu jersey? I do not. I have a Guerrero Jr. jersey, and I have some shirt jerseys of a bunch of Blue Jays. That's for my financial investment into it. I like to accumulate a lot, so I end up with a bunch of shirt jerseys just because I can't be dropping $150 for everybody. $25 for a shirt jersey, just fine. Need the royal blue Mets hat. Well, we'll see. I don't know. I like the Mets. Mets aren't in the division. I like the Mets more than the Yankees. Let's see. Let's talk about Springer real quick because we want to keep moving through the lineup just so we can get through the lineup and then you guys can really just take over. So Springer, this is an interesting situation. Let's get some Springer up real quick. So this whole George Springer thing, it's fascinating how just at the beginning of last year, everybody hated all of the Astros, right? You'd name them, line them up. We hated them all. Now George Springer's a free agent, and everyone's like, George, come here, come to us. Everybody but Yankee fans. Yankee fans and Dodgers fans don't want anything to do with him. But Mets fans, Blue Jays fans, Red Sox fans, we're lining up. It's like, you know what? Just keep the garbage cans, 50 feet away, 100, keep out of the stadium, and we're good. Let's get some George Springer in here. So I get it. He hasn't always had a trash can banging in the background, right? So if he can help your team, that's what's important. And the Mets want to become a regular playoff contender. So to have somebody who's been in the playoffs a lot is important. So how this is going to go? Does he go to the Mets? Does he go to the Blue Jays? That's the real question here. It seems to be between those two teams, and it's going to come down to who pays them more. It's really who's going to fall first. Is it going to be DJ or is it going to be Springer that go down first? And whoever, let's say the Blue Jays get Springer. I think that takes them out of the DJ. And if the Blue Jays get DJ, I think it probably takes them out of Springer. I just don't see a world where they bring them both in. So, the Mets fans are probably hoping that the Blue Jays sign DJ LeMahieu because that gives them an open shot at George Springer. Because where else is George Springer going to go and make this money right now? Like I said, the Yankees aren't going to bring him in. No way. The fan base will just turn on him. Be the first time you ever see somebody throw batteries at somebody in pinstripes. And you can't go to the Dodgers. Oh my God, no. So the other big market teams, you can't go there. Right. And you got to be a big market team or one of the few teams that haven't spent, that have money all of a sudden this offseason. So it's Mets. No, I'm sorry. It's Mets. Yes. Yankees. No. Dodgers. No. Not going to send them to the Angels. Right. They've got enough money tied up with bats. They need pitching. So Springer really, it's Mets or Blue Jays. I think it will come down to one of those. And if DJ falls first, if let's say DJ goes back to the Yankees, the Blue Jays are going to push hard for Springer. They will give Springer whatever he wants. I can almost guarantee that. Let me get back to the chat here because I've been looking at focusing on the rundown here real quick. I want to get back to you guys. Biggio, NBM, Biggio, Guerrero, jerseys, Bo Bichette, shirt, jersey, good. I tried to get on the Bo Bichette early. I tried to get that shirt jersey before he got called up so I could walk around looking like I'm early to the party. And I got his minor league number. That's not the number he wears in the big league. So I kind of tossed that one to the side. I got to get a new one. Let's get to Astros are cheaters. Yes, I know. I'm with you. Not the Red Sox. I mean, I guess the Red Sox could come in late for Springer. We'll see. Stin123, here you are, buddy. I will get to you. So Stin was one of the guys. Listen, I'm all about you guys, all right? So earlier in today, put out a poll, ask you guys what you want to talk about, and anybody who comments and gives me some suggestions, if you do it early enough, I got you. So we will get to that. Let's see. I want to make sure we got this right. Stin wanted to do Red Sox. Let me just give you a taste. I've made a slide for you. So we got some Red Sox that we're going to get to in a few minutes for Stin, but let's stay on George Springer for a few minutes. I will get to you, my man. So we got we're talking about Springer. Let me get back to the chat though real quick. MLB Joey, welcome in. I want to get up with everybody. Would you trade JD Davis to the Reds? Castillo, I don't think that would be quite enough. I know the Reds just gave away Iglesias, but I think they would need more for Castillo. I just think that they would probably want to prospect or two. Somebody hasn't played, doesn't have any money, doesn't have any time accumulated yet towards arbitration. Let's see here. I'm going to come back to the chat in a minute. Let me get the lineup back up. I'm going back to the chat, guys. All right. So David Springer coming to the Mets, still holding out hope for Lindor. Like I said, if Springer goes to the Mets and DJ goes to the Yankees, I think the Blue Jays will push hard for Lindor, but just got to get some clarity on these free agents first. Let's see, both to the Blue Jays. I mean, it would be at the expense of the pitching, and that's just what I worry about. Unless they can work out some really good deals for some guy, maybe they make a trade, and get Sonny Gray, who's not paid a lot. We'll kind of see how that goes out. But they definitely need to do some pitching They definitely need to do that and get some pitching done. Let's see here. Springer better long term. I think I agree with you, LaToya. He's a little bit younger. Both the Blue Jays are going to be fun. LeMahieu seems too much like Tulo all over again. Here's the thing, NBM. Look what LeMahieu's done when he gets away from Yankee Stadium. Or I'm sorry, from Colorado. In Yankee Stadium, in the American League East, he's flourished. He's done fine. If you look at the splits for Arenado, his splits, I mean, it goes down. He does see a dip when he's away from Coors Field. LeMahieu has flourished away from Colorado. All right. Let's see. Actually didn't know. The MLB Shop doesn't have Ryu jerseys. That seems crazy. Springer's overrated. We'll see. We'll see. Hearing about Hendricks, I haven't heard anything about Hendricks. What you got? I feel like the market is still. You've seen some relatively smaller deals. None of these big guys have signed anywhere. So I think the market is looking for something to set, and maybe these two guys got to sign first. Paul, I wouldn't sign him for that much, and I wouldn't sign Bauer for more than a year or two. I agree with you, Paul, on Bauer. I worry about Bauer. He's only done it. Listen, I don't even want to give him a credit for a full year last year. He did it for a year and a half. He's been good for a year and a half. That's 7 other seasons with an ERA over 4, a walk rate that you don't love. There's this whole thing about his RPMs, and he's gone out and says he doesn't. If you've seen the social media stuff, he's talking about how if he were to have a substance on his hand and he could get his RPMs up, he would dominate. And all of a sudden his RPMs went through the roof last year. I'm kind of, I don't know. What if he stops? What if he had some mixture of dirt and lotion and rosin on his hand last year and he got his RPMs up? He was gripping the ball tighter and then he doesn't do it. I just worry about it. Yeah. Pine tar. I just worry about the situation with Bauer. Someone needs to take Travis Shaw's place. Yeah, I mean, it's. I think they're going to sign somebody. Someone's going to sign. They're going to either get a third baseman or first baseman. It could be DJ, and they'll be good. Real Muto is really screwed. Where will he go? He should have dropped his price. Real Muto is going to be interesting. It seems like it's kind of cool. The Nats were talking about him. The Blue Jays were talking about him. The Mets, moved with McCann. Maybe he ends up going back to Philly for less money. Because I think the Blue Jays might think about Real Muto, but again, Real Muto, I don't think anyone's going to sign Real Muto before Springer and LeMahieu. That's kind of what I'm seeing, is that these top 2 guys, that's who you're hearing the most about these days. It's these 2 guys, Springer and LeMahieu, and then teams are going to focus elsewhere. And the teams that are going to spend money this year are kind of limited to the big markets, the Blue Jays. And I'm not hearing a whole lot of other teams that are willing to just shell out the money. This is a really challenging offseason for some of these guys. Let me get, because I don't want him to leave. And anybody who's checking this out, when you please subscribe. We do a poll before we do the live show. Ask you guys what you want to talk about. I encourage you to comment below. So we are going to get to some Red Sox talk here for a minute. I'm going to switch up the scroll. Just give you some information about me. You can find me on Twitter at Jim Riley Live. Talk baseball all day. Talk a bunch of sports all day. On Instagram, if you're down with baseball cards, I post pictures of baseball cards on Instagram. So I'm going to have that at the bottom for a minute. But let's talk about Red Sox for a minute because I don't want our guy Stin123 to go, because he was asking about Red Sox talk. We're going to do Red Sox talk for just a couple of minutes here. So I was looking at the Red Sox. I kind of looked at what – last year was a waste for the Boston Red Sox. Absolute waste. Chris Sale was gone. JD Martinez didn't care. You had the Devers slump. He slumps every time early, and he didn't have a chance to play a full season to get out of it. So, looking at what are their odds this year, you got plus 8,000 to win the World Series by points bet. That's just sad and disappointing. Hey, buddy, in there are. But here's the thing. Alex Cora's back. Chris Sale should be back by midsummer. Devers is going to have a full chance to Devers going to have a full chance to get out of a slump. A lot of guys didn't have a chance to get out of a slump last year because they only played for 2 months. So Devers will have a chance to get back into it. I like the infield. I think Bobby Dalbec is one of the best prospects in baseball. He came up and he did well last year. Michael Chavis is an underrated second baseman. Bogarts is one of the best shortstops. I love Xander Bogaerts. The outfield, Andrew Benintendi drives me absolutely mad. I had him on a fantasy baseball team a couple years ago, and I haven't gotten over it. I'm mad at Andrew Benintendi. Verdugo, I love. You got Renfroe out there, nice addition, going to hit a lot of balls over the monster. And then Vasquez is a very fine catcher, and Martinez is a good DH. So the team is okay. Core's back. You get Chris Sale back. The rotation starts to come together. Houck is a good pitcher that's coming up. Listen, the fact that the Red Sox are down there with the Orioles, the Rangers, the Rockies, Royals, Marlins, Tigers, Mariners, Pirates to win the World Series, I don't think the Red Sox are going to win the World Series. Yes, Stin, you definitely need somebody to replace Benintendi. Stin, what do you think about Jackie Bradley Jr.? It's heading out. Darcy, thank you very much. Stin, what do you think about Jackie Bradley Jr. probably leaving? What are your thoughts about that? Do you want him back? I feel like he's sort of a fan favorite there. Let me know. So you got a situation with this team. Now, whatever their over-under is, I'm waiting for that. There will be a big over-under show at some point when we get some good numbers. I'm going to take the over on the Red Sox, whatever it is. If this is an early indication, if you want to throw $20 down, $100 down, I think you make some money on the Red Sox depending on what that over-under is, because half the guys didn't care. Half the guys went through a slump, didn't have a chance to get back. The manager situation was a mess. If you get Chris Sale back by midsummer and the Red Sox are into it, you could see them making a move to stay into it. The Red Sox for 2021, I think it's going to be a major difference from 2020. That American League East is just going to be brutal. I mean, the Orioles are just going to get their butt kicked all year long because no matter who comes in from the American League East, they're just going to tear them up. So I think the Red Sox are going to be a lot better. They'll have an opportunity too. Think about this. Remember, last year, it was just they only played teams in the East. So who did the Red Sox play? They played the Yankees and Rays, really good. They when they went to the National League, they had their interleague. They played, the Braves. They played the Nationals were terrible, but they played the good teams in the National League East. The Marlins were good. The Phillies were competitive sometimes. Anyway, what I'm saying is now the Red Sox are going to get a chance to branch out and go beat up onto the teams in the American League Central. They're going to get away from only playing the Blue Jays, the Yankees, the Rays. They're going to get to go play the Tigers and the Royals again. That will be good for them. They kind of need that. So I think the Red Sox will have a bounce back situation, and I think that will be something that if you're a betting person, you might be able to take advantage of that on the over under. So and again, I want to give a shout out to Stin123. He was sort of the requester for this one. So thank you for that. We're talking Red Sox here for a minute. End up with a 575 winning percentage. I think that there's a chance that they're going to be above 500. It's going to be hard to make the playoffs. That American League East, they're just going to beat up on each other. Again, it's going to be great that they can get out of the division and they can go beat up on teams in the Central. So I think that they will be above 500. I don't know if they get to 575, but I think they will be a 500 or 500 team. Who remembers when the Orioles are good? I do. Go back to when Chris Davis hit like 50 home runs. They were good. As Chris Davis goes, so go the Orioles. When he's hitting home runs, they're good. When he's not, the Orioles are terrible. So anyway, so Stin123, thank you for suggesting the Red Sox talk. I appreciate that. Still looking out if you're out there. Jonathan Bills, if you are in the chat, let me know because we do have a slide for you for the Braves. If you are here, again, everybody who's in here right now, make sure you subscribe. This is a Tuesday thing. We do it late Tuesday. It's the Nightcap. And, but come find me and subscribe because, like we did here for Stin, We will, if you get to me early enough when I put out the poll Tuesday morning, what do we want to talk about? If you comment what you want to talk about, we'll make a slide for it. So that is going to be the Red Sox. Let's get, I'm happy to jump back to the Red Sox, but we will sort of, for now, get back to the lineup here because I want to talk about. It's very interesting what's happening in Cincinnati. We've kind of alluded to it with other teams. The situation where, there are teams that are just not going to spend money, and then there are teams that are giving stuff away. Raisel Iglesias for nothing was surprising. The fact that Castillo is out there is really shocking to me. He's still not even eligible for arbitration. He's only going to be 25 this season, so he's got team control for 4 years, and he's been great. 3 out of the 4 seasons he's pitched, his ERA has been between 3.4 and 3. His career WHIP is 1.16, and his career K rate is 10 per 9. That any team would like that. Any team would like that. I got to think that there are going to be some teams lining up for Luis Castillo and Eugenio Suarez. Dude's a beast. Go look at his numbers. A 30 homer guy. He really doesn't make a lot of money. We're talking about how much they're going to give Springer, 20, 25 million. Suarez is making half that. And just as productive, maybe more productive. Suarez is locked in for 10.5 this year, 11 million for the next 3 years, and then a $15 million option in 2025. So Eugenio Suarez is a great deal. And because he's making some money, you may be able to get Suarez away from the Reds, for not a whole lot of money. So, the situation with the Reds is fascinating. The fact that Sonny Gray's out there too, the Reds, the Angels, the Blue Jays, the Mets, teams that have been, linked to needing pitching have to be picking up the phone, making phone calls. If the Angels don't come away with Sonny Gray or Castillo, Stin, my guy, if you're still here, the Red Sox, make a deal. Go get Sonny Gray, go get Luis Castillo, and then all of a sudden your rotation starts to come together. Because right now the rotation for the Red Sox is a mess. The Yankees could go get Castillo. I hope they don't. We know they won't get Sonny Gray, but they could go get Castillo. So, it's really just kind of fascinating to watch what the Reds are doing, to see who's able to take advantage of it. It's really disappointing from a baseball standpoint. 2 years ago, they went all in, right? They go get Puig, they get Moustakas, they get Castellano, they got Alex Wood, they made that trade with the Dodgers. They did all of this stuff, the Reds did, and now they're just giving up on it. I'm disappointed. If I was a Reds fan, I would be extremely disappointed. This is just this is one of those reasons why, as fans, just forget them. Don't go to the games. You can't go to the games, right? Do you think the Rays will fall apart? NBM, if the Rays do fall apart, it's usually for just a season or two, and it's really not that bad of a collapse because they just are great at building their system. So, the Rays, if they have a down year, if they trade Snell, I'd love that. I'd love for the Rays to trade Snell out of there. Morton's gone. That lineup is just a pain. That bullpen is a pain to deal with. So, we'll kind of see what they do. LaToya, Jays need another pitcher and an outfielder. The pitcher, yes. Outfielder, they've got 3 fine. I'd like to see the Blue Jays go into 2021 and see what a full season could happen from Grichuk and Hernandez if they play the way they did last year. I would like to see that. Let's see here. What do you think the Mets record will be in 2021? That's to be determined. That they got to do something. They hit a ton last year, so just adding, McCann and Springer won't be enough. They have to do something for the pitching. I know Syndergaard will be back, but is that going to be enough? Is he going to be healthy? You can have Stroman. You didn't have Stroman last year. Is that enough? That's going to be the question for the Mets. They were an under 500 team last year, despite the fact they had the 3rd highest OPS, but their ERA was at 5. Even with Jacob deGrom, they just got to get the pitching together. If the pitching can come together, they'll be a 500 team. If it's like it was last year, you can expect the same. Jays need a better defensive center fielder. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I get you, Ben. No doubt about it. Grichuk in center field, I don't love it. Teoscar, I don't love it. I think Springer defensively would be an upgrade if that can happen. That's why the Jays have been linked to Jackie Bradley Jr. So, that's one of the things. And Latoya, the leadership, again, we talk about Springer, we talk about garbage cans and all that, but he's been in the playoffs a ton. He brings playoff leadership. I guess the question is that none of us really know, and it's not out there, is what do the Blue Jays players think of the Astros and George Springer and that whole situation? That's key. We know the Yankees and Dodgers are out, right? They've been very vocal. I don't think Trevor Bauer is going to want to play on the same team as George Springer. So what do the players think of George Springer? That's going to be interesting. Jay should try to pick up either Darvish or Kendrick from the Cubs. It'd be worth it. Both are under contracts. Yeah, they're both under contracts. I've heard the Darvish thing floated out there a few times. A couple other guys have done some videos about Darvish getting dealt. We'll see what the Cubs are doing. They haven't been quick to act. They made that flurry of moves when they didn't tender contracts to a couple of guys, Schwarber among them. But, they just hired David Ross. I don't think they want to completely blow it up or give up. So they probably hold on to Darvish for a little bit. Jays could do a blockbuster for you and Bryant. I'd like Chris Bryant to come on over. I'm a Bryant fan. I know a lot of people are down on Chris Bryant, Mike, but I'm in on him. Let's see. I think Encarnacion will get a job. I'd love Encarnacion to come on and be like a coach. Maybe let him come in, get one more year with the Jays. He's coming off the bench, or he's DH or whatever. Edwin Encarnacion is one of my favorite Blue Jays. So somehow to get him back into the fold would be nice. Jays need to get Paxton and Walker for pitching. I like that. Pilar and Galvis for bench leadership. Better free agents next year. I like the pitching ideas there. I don't know if Kevin Pilar would come back if he couldn't play full time. That would be the only stick up there. But we'll see. I mean, I think you're right on there. Offense is stacked, but they are too sloppy on defense. Yeah, I mean, you're right. They need defense. I mean, that's why they've been linked to Jackie Bradley Jr. and Andrelton Simmons to defense. It's right. It's what's up the middle, right? Be solid up the middle, and that's one of the that's one of the things. Do I think Encarnacion going to get a job? Right. I mean, he's going to land somewhere. Again, somehow if the Jays could work it in, great. I don't see it happening. One of the most disappointing times in Jays fandom for me was when the Blue Jays just moved on from Edwin early the offseason a few years ago. And so, I hope Edwin comes back as a coach when he's done playing. My worry is now he's going to go out there and he's going to be like a dead stick. He'll hit 20 home runs, but he's also going to hit 150. And that doesn't help this team right now. He's not going to be able to run. So, the time has moved on, but I'd love to see him back as a coach or something. I'm a big Edwin fan, that's for sure. Blue Jays bench coach Dave Hudgens was the Astro City coach in 2017. Yes, Renee, you are correct. Thank you for calling that out. They do have ties. That could be a nice piece to bring Springer in there. Nobody's really talking about that either. Good thing you pointed out. Any news on Realmuto and Suarez to the Nats? That died out, James. That was sort of a 24-hour news cycle thing, and then that died out. So that was that's quieted down. I don't know if I trust the Nats to make that move. They need to. The Nats are in big trouble. They certainly need to. That's for sure. T Brinks, how good are Boston stats going to be in 21? Boss, give me that back. What are you saying there? I don't understand. So I'll keep an eye out for that. One thing I want to do. So at some point in the next few weeks, month, something like that, I'm going to do some fun content. I don't know if any of you guys are into the Marvel movies, any of that stuff, but I'm going to create some content. I'm either going to do it live or I'll do a recorded video. But I put out a poll earlier today or yesterday about Iron Man. And we're going to talk about that for just a minute here. So here's the thing. I want to get back to my poll. I want to see how it's looking right now. So Iron Man, typically you think of the guy who's played the longest consecutive game streak, right? Kyle Ripken is Iron Man. But I feel like it's 2020, almost 2021. Thank God. I think we can rebrand Iron Man. we've had a whole slew of movies now. We have the MCU. Iron Man is sort of different now. I want to create an Iron Man, not like Ripken, not with a consecutive game streak. That would be Whit Merrifield, by the way, if we were looking for the longest consecutive game streak. Iron Man, the character, a leader, maybe a little bit cocky, strong, fast, one of the best right now. So we did a poll. We got close to 200 votes on that. 31% for Acuna, 40%. Let me get the graphic up real quick. So we had 31% for Acuna, 40% for Bellinger, 17% for Manny Machado. So that's why those three are up here. I want you guys in the chat. I got 1, 2, and 3. Comment in the chat. Who's Iron Man? This is going to help weigh this out because we have the chat right now. It's 31% Acuna, 40% Bellinger, 17% Machado. In the chat, 1 for Acuna, 2 for Bellinger, 3 for Machado. Who's Iron Man? Again, strong, cocky, a leader on his team. That's what we're kind of looking for here. We also had Javier Baez and Alex Bregman in that. Baez got 7%. Bregman got 5%. These were the 3 leading vote getters. What's going to happen is I'm going to take all of the Marvel characters that we've seen in the MCU, and we are going to assign them a baseball alias. We're going to pick the baseball player that fits that description, fits that mold. So we're going to be assigning new. We're going to be assigning the MCU. We're going to be assigning these guys to some of the characters. Some people saying Machado. Bellinger is Thor. I thought about that too. We were going through the whole thing, and I am looking forward to doing that again. It might be something that has to wait until the new year, but it is something that we're looking at doing. To keep an eye on that. But I wanted to just present it here and sort of let you guys know that is something that is going to be coming. Sort of some fun content here in the offseason that we're going to be doing. Machado, because he has more money, knows what to do with. Right. Iron Man's rich. And certainly Machado has more money than Bellinger and Acuna. That's for sure. So keep an eye out for that. I wanted to just kind of touch on that. We will be getting into some of that soon. And again, if you're into it, could be some fun content. Might do it live, might do it fully recorded, fully produced. So we'll kind of see where that goes. Let's do, and we'll touch back on this if my guy comes in. We were talking about the piece of content for Jonathan Bills. If you're here, we're rolling with it. If you're not, we'll come back to it. I want to talk about real quick before we get to the projections, the overs and the unders. Let's talk about the Braves for just a minute because 2 reasons. I kind of like the graphic that I put together, and the other reason is because they're a fun team that's building and growing. So, what do you think? Are we looking at Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz 2.0? I mean, what Ian Anderson did when he showed up was phenomenal, and I don't think there's any real reason for that to fall off. His pitching arsenal, everything. Anderson was legit. Max Fried took a great step last year. Mike Soroka is good stuff. This and conveniently, it's 2 righties and a lefty. So it's almost reincarnated, the history repeating itself in Atlanta. And, sorry for the Mets fans, it's going to be tough going. It is going to be tough going for a while with these 3 because they're all young. They're entering their prime, and it is going to be tough. These are the numbers for those guys. Let me make sure. Again, this was Jonathan Bills. If you're here, Jonathan, this one is for you, buddy. If he comes in a little bit later, we'll come back to it. But I wanted to talk about the Braves for a minute because this rotation, just further exemplifies just how important the pitching can be and how important the right guys are. So that is something that we wanted to just talk about real quick. If Jonathan comes in, we'll do a little bit more on that. But in terms of youth, in terms of talent, these 3 are on the rise. And if you're Braves fans, you got to just absolutely love this. Zachary, Tatis or Betts would be Superman. I'm actually thinking Betts for Spider-Man. Zachary, let me know what you think about that. I'm thinking Betts for Spider-Man. Just the body comp out there at the wall, climbing the wall in the World Series. I feel like Betts is Spider-Man. So anyway, that's that. But this is what I'm thinking. This is some brave stuff for you guys. Let me get to the next bit of it. I want to talk about. Let's see. T Brinks says, just want to know how drivers. Okay, all right. Let's keep moving. So projections. That is where we're going, and I want you guys. This is another interactive part of the program. We're gonna do projections for about 8 guys, and you in the chat, let me know what you see. Is it going to be over? Is it going to be under? Or is it just right? So we're going to do some projections, and we're going to get into that. Want to start with, makes sense, a couple of guys that we've been talking about. We're going to do DJ LeMahieu. We're going to do George Springer. We're going to get those two first. So let's do George Springer first.
Have used in the postseason. And Springer on the first pitch turns it around. That is up and out of here.
George Springer, 2021 projection. Again, in the comment section, in the chat, you guys, what do you think? Let me get the scroll out of the way. 1 for over, 2 for under, 3 for looks good. He is projected based on the baseball forecaster from baseballhq.com. 103 runs, 36 homers, 90 runs batted in, 5 steals, a slash line of 276, 372, and 532. That is our projection for George Springer. Let me know if you think it's high. Do you think it looks about right? Is it too low? I think it's, my opinion, I think this is right on for George Springer if he's hitting at the top of the lineup. Now, the only way that changes is if it sort of flips, right? Like if he moves down to the 3 spot, maybe it's 103 runs and 103 RBI and 90 runs. Maybe that. But it does, I think, look about right. Stint 25 homers. We'll see. He's going to be in a new ballpark. He's not going to have that short porch situation in left field. So maybe the homers come down a little bit. But George Springer, this is his projection. Let's move on to the next guy, and it is DJ LeMahieu.
Victory Thangs is a hitter, and it's good to see him swinging the bat with authority.
And that one is driven deep to left field. See ya, a home run for DJ LeMahieu.
So his 2021 projection, 109 runs, 20 homers, 84 RBI, 6 steals, a slash line of 328, 378, and 498. What do you think? Over, under, looks good. 1, 2, or 3. This sort of, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we were talking about DJ LeMahieu. Things are going to come down a little bit, but it's still going to look really good, right? A 328 batting average. To repeat that 360 is going to be tough. Now, over the next 4 or 5 years, does he have another 360 in him? Probably. But if you're projecting for DJ LeMahieu, I got to think that 328 is right about his line, and that's great. Like if that's the projection, I mean, that's solid. 20 homers. Again, the home run count comes down a little bit. That 26 home run is probably the high water mark. 20 is about right. But if you have that in the lineup, that is looking good. Everybody feels like that looks good. So we will move on to the next guy. Only makes sense. It is another player that's highly talked about now in the news. Let's do Trevor Bauer.
Ball. Development. Position to be in.
Trevor Bauer's 2021 projection. 13 wins, 203 innings, 251 Ks, an ERA of 3.17, and a whip of 1.09. What do you think? Over, under, looks good. Here's the thing. Is this worth $25 million, $24 million for the next, 5 years? If that's what's going to take. That's the thing about Trevor Bauer. This would be good. I would take it. This is projecting that RPM level stays up there. If that RPM drops off, this isn't what it's going to be. But if he keeps those up, that's going to be something to watch. Wherever he goes, if you play fantasy baseball or he's on your team, go to Fangraphs, go to wherever you can get the numbers and track the RPMs. Because let's say he goes out there for, first couple starts and he gets shelled. You're like, what's the deal? Look at the RPMs. That is going to be the key for Trevor Bauer. So everyone's thinking it is going to be under. I think I might be right with you. And again, this is from Baseball Forecaster. This is baseballhq.com. You can go out and get it somewhere. I'm sure you can buy it online, whatever you do. I love this. I go buy it every year. It really breaks it down. These projections are not just pulled out of the thin air. They look at all of the analytics and they give us some numbers. So we have a few here. Darcy, thank you very much. We are going to move on to the next guy. And I figured let's talk about one of the other key free agents here. We're going to do this again, just so you guys know. And when we do, we're not going to come back to these guys. We'll get into a whole bunch of other guys. I might do one of these where we do all projections. We'll see. But maybe in the new year, we'll do a fully stacked projection video. But let's look at one of the other free agents. We talked about him earlier, JT Realmuto.
Out to center field. Birdie's going back toward the track, to the wall. It is gone! Off the brick wall in center field.
That's some power. So JT Realmuto, his 2021 projection, 88 runs, 26 homers, 88 RBI, 9 steals, slash line of 274, 335, and 488. What do you guys think? Now, this is why he's probably going to go after Springer and LeMahieu, because those numbers we saw for Springer and LeMahieu are better. And I think the teams that are in on those two are also in on JT if they don't get Springer or LeMahieu. So Realmuto probably has to wait, because these numbers, while they're good, great for a catcher, they're beneath the other top free agents in Toronto, the Mets. Actually, I don't think the Mets are going to be in on Realmuto anymore, but Toronto, some of these other teams, they're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait and see. You think it's going to be over? Okay. A couple guys, Renee thinks it's over. Ben thinks it's over. So we'll see. We will see. Okay, let's get to the next one. And again, it's somebody else we talked about, from the Reds, pitcher. I'm amazed that he's out there available right now. Luis Castillo.
Now the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss.
Better himself on defense. And that's all for the Tigers in Romine.
He's so good. I mean, I love the arm angle. I love the slot. I just think it's deceptive. Castillo's good. 13 wins, 233 Ks, ERA in the mid-threes, which actually be a little high considering where he's been for his career. A whip of 1.19. That's still good enough to lead a team. The Angels would kill for that. The Blue Jays, I think, would love to have that. A lot of these teams would love to have that. A lot of you guys think that it's going to be over. I think I might be with you. Depending on if he stays with the Reds or goes somewhere else, that win total could be up. Wins are tough to project. They state that in the book. Wins are tough to project because, there's a variety of things that could happen. So win is 13. It's kind of a safe bet. Castillo's gross. He's getting better too. Right. It's 25. Ben, he's 25. He's going to get so much better. So that is going to be important. I think, Castillo, if he doesn't end up with the Angels, like the Angels, just go do it right now. Pick up the phone. Brandon Marsh, you guys can have him. We want Luis Castillo. Just do it. You don't know what Brandon Marsh is going to be. Joe Adele was supposed to be a god. He came up and didn't do it. Didn't cut it. He's going to start the year in the minors. So just go. Make the deal. I'm all about dealing prospects. Anyway, so that's Castillo. We have a couple more here for you guys. Another free agent. We're going to dive into one of the big bats from the free agent pool, and it is Marcell Ozuna.
That one is well struck left field on its way. Marcell Ozuna will touch them all.
Boy, I mean, he shows up in Atlanta, and that was just what a move for him, career-wise, financially. I think Braves fans would love to have him back. If we have any Braves fans in here, let me know. Do you want Ozuna back? His 2021 projection, 82 runs, 33 home runs, 103 RBIs. What do you think? Over, under, or looks good? I mean, his projection last year, if he could have played a full year, he would have blown past that 33 number. So he could go over. A lot of you guys are saying over as well for Marcell Ozuna. I think I might buy that. The average seems low. What did he do last year? Now you got me curious about what Ozuna hit for last year. Let's see. And then what he's done for his career. So Marcell Ozuna for his career is a 276 guy. I mean, last year, 338. That's the highest he's ever hit. That's going to come down a little bit. Does it come down to 282? We'll see. But I do think that, I can't expect him to stay up there. Ozuna is insane. He's going to keep performing like in the Miami days. It wasn't a fluke. I believe Marcell Ozuna is good. Marcell Ozuna is legit. He's only going to be entering his age 30 season, so he's got a few more years of this in him. It's just too bad he didn't get to play full year. Led the league in home runs and RBI. And if a full season plays out, I mean, he's making a run at the Triple Crown. That 338 batting average, if he holds that for the whole season and, guys move up and down, he could have been making a run at a Triple Crown. Marcell Ozuna was fantastic. Kyle, Jim, didn't know where you were. Sorry, buddy. I put the link out on Twitter a couple times. Put it up at 10. I had another one go at 10:15. You can always find me here every Tuesday. That's what we're gonna roll with is Tuesday. And if anything changes, I will always let you guys know. So we're in the middle of the projections, Kyle. So we are, and you're just in time. Just in time. We have been doing a lot of the free agents. Now we're going to get off free agents for two guys. My favorite team is the Blue Jays. We're going to do one Blue Jay here, and it's a key one. It's a young one. It's one of the babies. Here we go.
They wanted too early from Nate Pearson, but here's a fly ball, and Bo Bichette, his 5th hit of the game.
Boy, that was the 5-for-5 game. I mean, come on. Bo Bichette, 79 runs, 25 homers, 73 RBI, 20 steals, a 2020 season. The slash line of 290, 335, and 526. What do you think? Are we going over? Is it going to be under? It's not going to be under. He's going to have to get hurt for it to be under. Is it over? Does it look good? You want to get excited. You want to buy the hype. You want to say, it's going to be 90 runs and all that. And I think this is, a lot of you guys are saying we got a lot of looks good. We've got a few overs. The average low. It could be, one thing I want to just remind everybody, the forecaster does project at about, I want to say it's about a 60% confidence level. So it leaves some room for a higher situation there. But so that to start at 290 is a good spot. If Bo can stay healthy, he will go off. Yeah, totally. 312. I like it. Again, he's got a better chance of hitting 312 than he does, 260. So this is a good number. I think 290 to sort of be like the benchmark, be a floor would be good. But I like Bo. A lot of good things coming with Bo. Again, like I was saying earlier, I bought a shirt jersey with his minor league number. He doesn't play with that in the big leagues. I got to get a new shirt jersey. All right, we have one more projection that we're going to dive into, and then we're going to really let you guys run the conversation here for a little bit. It is from the World Series champions. Wouldn't feel right to leave the World Series champs out. Wouldn't feel right to leave the World Series MVP out. So let's do Mr. Seager.
1-2. Hit in the air to center. Back at the track. It is gone. Another one for Seager.
So Corey Seager, Mr. World Series MVP. 94 runs, 28 homers, 97 RBI, 2 steals, and a 288, 350, 519 slash line. What do you think? Is he going to go over, under, or does that look about right for Corey Seager? What's important to note is that, he hasn't been able to play a full slate of games in a couple years. 2018, he played 26. 2019, he played 134. So a lot of games, but didn't get through the whole season. Last year, played 52 out of 60. You've seen what he can be when he's healthy. At 295, 362, 500 career slash line. So this is kind of expecting maybe a little bit underneath the career line. But you guys let me know what you think. We have a lot of threes, some ones. His power is better than that, Ben. Let's see. We got 28. His high water mark is 26. He did that when he was 22. He's certainly got some 30 homer seasons in that bat to come. And it's going to be 27 this year. So, yeah, I mean, I think you could certainly see a spike at some point. We could see a spike at some point with Corey Seager. So we get some threes. We got some looks good. We got some overs. Nobody really saying under on Corey Seager. So Corey Seager would be a nice season for Corey Seager if we had that. So let's see here. Let me take a look at everything. Let's see. Okay. So that is all of the projections. Let's see. Let's do some movement with the graphics here. Let's get that back. Let's get this back. All right. Again, everybody that's in here now, if you haven't been in here for long, or you're just checking the channel out for the first time, we're gonna kind of get into the Zachary Arozarena. I don't have a slide, but I can give you the numbers. Just give me 1 second. We'll do Arozarena. You guys want to throw out a few numbers? We'll do a few guys off the cuff. But anybody that's in here now, this is a big thing for me, is that, you guys are a main contributor to this stream. So I love the comments in the chat. I'm going to get to all the comments in the chat. And I also do a poll early in the day. Earlier today, we did a poll. I kind of put the lineup out there. Let me know what you guys want to talk about, and comment your team, comment what you want to talk about. Because if you do it, and if you do it early enough, we'll create some slides for you guys. We did that for a couple guys, and we'll do it for you guys. So if you want to come in and chat, and you want to, be heard in this thing, I'm all about that. So Arozarena. All right, you're gonna have to give me a minute to pull up my forecaster. Good question. A lot of people gonna want to know what Arozarena is. So here is the Arozarena situation. His slash line is projected at 269, 390, and 483, with 25 homers, 79 runs, 75 RBI, and 19 steals, which I think is about right, just based on, he's not going to do what he did in the World Series over a long period of time. So a full season with some ups, some downs, I think that is a good benchmark for him. And for the Rays to stumble upon that, dude, they gave up nothing for Randy Arozarena. That's just, shame on the Cardinals for doing that. Kyle, do we talk about DJ? We did talk about DJ. We can talk about him for a quick minute again, because we do have a lot of people in here now that were not here earlier. We were really just kind of talking about, the situation between Yankees and Blue Jays. How do the Yankees let this happen? Is DJ using the Blue Jays as leverage? Because that's a very fair possibility. We had somebody bring that up earlier, that this could be a leverage play by DJ LeMahieu. What is going to happen here? Because the Blue Jays certainly could use him and slide him anywhere. The lineup that we had, I put him at first. He could play third. He could play second. Vladdy could stay at first. I mean, you can move the pieces around in the infield for the most part. So what is this going to look like? How do the Yankees let this happen? It's 5 for 25, and that fifth year only takes him to age 37. It's not like he goes to age 40. I think it's silly. I think it's stupid for the Yankees to just say, we don't need, we can let DJ go. Because the problem is, if they let DJ go, what's next? You can't get Springer. You can't get Real Muto, because you got a catcher. You got Gary Sanchez. And you got a ton of sunk into him. You can't have Gary DH because you got Stanton. So you can't invest the money it's going to take to get Real Muto without anywhere to really play him. So the Yankees are in a tough spot. They can't get Real Muto. They can't get Springer. So then they end up looking at, Marcus Semien or Didi Gregorius, which wouldn't be terrible. But if you're comparing Didi or Semien to DJ LeMahieu, it doesn't look as good. It's kind of disappointing. In my video the other day, they're kind of like door prizes compared to DJ LeMahieu, what he can do. Now, if DJ wasn't out there and they were just going to get Didi or Semien, that'd be a good addition. But tough spot. The Blue Jays would just really be. It almost feels like I'm being a homer to say it, but I try to be analytical with all this stuff. I try to have a well-rounded baseball point of view, but it feels like you would start if DJ goes to Toronto, you start to feel, and you guys let me know if you agree, a shifting of power in the American League East, where the Blue Jays sort of jumped ahead a year last year, did better than fans might have thought with the Ryu situation. DJ coming on board. That lineup, let me put the lineup again. That lineup is long with DJ LeMahieu in there. I mean, you don't want to face 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tellez can kill you if you're a righty. If you got Kirk hitting this, you don't want to face this lineup with DJ LeMahieu. So, there's a whole. It just feels like there's a shifting in the balance if that's what's going to happen. Blue Jays players are doing very good job marketing the team. I mean, Bo's out there ringing the bell for DJ. Who is off the MLB roster if they get DJ? It's a good question. I think they keep Tellez on. Let's look at the Blue Jays depth chart. I mean, it's probably, honestly, it's going to be one of the deep guys that they don't, a middle infield guy, because you won't need him anymore. Somebody like Espinal could be the odd man out. Right now, Jonathan Davis is listed on the team. I mean, they got to update this depth chart. But you could see somebody like Espinal on the short end. Let's look at the 40-man real quick. And the infield, it points to Santiago Espinal. I know he was nice last year, but that's probably the way that goes. I mean, they got 5 catchers on the 40-man right now. They could let one of those go. I think you could probably, at this point, the way things are going, maybe Reese McGuire. I don't know. There's a lot to see there. Do I think the Jays could still land Kim? I know that Ryu had met him, right? It wasn't team sanctioned, though. They just wanted to get together. The Blue Jays have had a history of, being in the international market. So we'll kind of see where that goes. I think certainly. I think that's a possibility. Gurriel is a great spark plug and good clubhouse friend. Yes, Gurriel is a great part of that crew. He's a great part of that core right now. Let's see here. Only guy I want the Jays to get is Lindor because I don't want to lose Gurriel. They could hold on to Gurriel if they get LeMahieu. I certainly think so. Let's see here. Angels should get Tanaka. The Angels, there's like 15 guys that the Angels need to get. There's the Angels. If the Angels cannot improve their pitching this offseason, then they are literally asleep at the wheel. Now, they just went and got Raisel Iglesias, so it doesn't look like they're asleep at the wheel. They're probably just getting deals done. Things are moving slow right now because there's a lot of options for the Angels at pitcher, and they need to do that. They certainly need to do it this year. There's a lot of options, a lot of opportunities. A lot of guys that are probably going to be looking to prove themselves on a 1-year deal. Paxton could be affordable. He's going to be looking to prove something. Kluber is going to be looking to prove something. Archer. Now, you could sign those guys, and they could be terrible, and it could completely backfire on you. So that's the only risk there. But it will be interesting. They could go trade for Sonny Gray. I think the Angels should trade and go get Blake Snell. There's so much that the Angels just need to do, and if they don't do it, it'll be a big disappointment. James, is Michael Kopech a starter for the White Sox this year with the Dunning trade? I think so, because the rotation for the White Sox now, because they added a pitcher and gave up a pitcher. Ronaldo Lopez is still in the mix, and they got to get him out of there. So I think that Kopech is the number 5 guy for sure in that situation. Kyle, DJ wants a 5-year deal. Yep, it's 5 years, and the Blue Jays will give it to him. And it's 5 years. It takes him to age 37. It's not like it takes him to 40. You know, if it took him to 40, yeah, you're getting nothing out of the last year or two of that deal. But it takes him to 37. You're not eating any part of that. He's going to be fine. A 5-year deal in the National League, like the Mets, if the Mets were to go get LeMahieu, that's a problem. You know, that's a problem on a whole new level because the Mets really wouldn't have – the Mets would have – the Mets need a DH. The Mets need to move to the American League where the DH is as certain if they go get LeMahieu because they're going to be running out of positions to play people. Lindor is a final year. Only makes sense if they can sign. So the Lindor situation, mentioned it earlier, I don't think a Lindor trade happens until this Springer and LeMahieu, until they sign. Once they sign, once the Mets lose out on, Springer, let's say Springer goes to Toronto and LeMahieu goes to the Yankees, then the Mets are going to be hard making a trade for Lindor. And the Blue Jays are too. If the Blue Jays miss out on both, if Springer signs with the Mets and LeMahieu goes back to the Yankees, watch the Blue Jays. They, I think, will go hard for Francisco Lindor if they miss out on those guys. Kyle, I don't see Lindor getting traded until February. Right. That's totally. I mean, we got to see this situation with Springer and LeMahieu could drag out into January. So that trade's not going to happen. And the Indians have time. The Indians have time. They may be waiting. Part of the reason this is taking so long, these deals and everything is, we're still trying to figure out, we talked about it last week, when is the season going to start, number one? And number two, what is the COVID situation going to be? How much money, how much revenue are these teams going to be able to bring in? Are they going to be shut out, empty stadiums again all year? Or do they push the season back a month, play a full 162, but you can have, 25% capacity in, May. And then by, August, September, you can start filling your stadiums because the vaccine is out to the majority of the public and we're beating this thing, right? So some of these teams are probably waiting to find out what the financials are going to be before they make a move, before they make that move. Do you think a big trade signing will happen before the end of 2020, Zachary? I don't. I don't think Lindor is worth it for the Blue Jays. Lindor is one of the best players in baseball. He's only going to be 27 this year. It depends on what they have to give up. If the Blue Jays have to give up, their top 2 prospects and Lourdes Gurriel, I don't want to do that. Not at all. But if it's Randall Grichuk and one top 5 prospect and, a prospect in between that 15 to 25 range, I'd be cool with that. Even if we don't know we're going to sign him to a long-term deal. Because if the Blue Jays go get Lindor, I would expect them to couple that with a great pitching move, and they go for it. They do what the Raptors did a couple years ago with Kawhi. Let's see. Jared Klenick on Mariners roster for the opener. We'll see what the Mariners are doing. I don't know if the Mariners are going to want to start the clock on him yet. That would be my thing there. They may want to wait until they have a chance to win to start the clock. So definitely not for the opener. Probably got to wait a month or so until they can, manage his time and they're going to save a year on the arbitration. Let's see. Lindor trade no one is talking about. I really everything I've heard. It died down lately. Is just it's Blue Jays, it's Mets. I haven't heard a whole lot. As soon as they sign, he's dealt packages. I think have already been agreed. Let's see. There's free agent. Right. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if some teams have already worked out a deal and are waiting to see where some of these dominoes fall. T-Brinks, I think they play at least 100. Hope so, man. If it gets to like 80, even 100 is going to be borderline. I'll take 100 because we just had 60. If it dips below 100, I'm going to have a tough time. We're going to have a doom and gloom video if they announce an 80-game season. We're just going to we'll all come in here and complain for a couple hours. James, Jared, I don't think Klenick's on the roster for the opener. Let's see. Darcy, as soon as they sign Paxton, I'd love to see Paxton come over just because, he's a Canadian. I think he could probably feel some pride pitching for the Blue Jays, pitching for his countrymen, as long as they can play in Canada. Sagano or Kim will sign before New Year's. I'm pretty sure one of them will actually doesn't have a choice. But, we'll see. I got to think something happens. But, just the way this year has been, the way teams are operating, how cautious they're being with the holidays and people just, I don't know. I can just see people shutting it down, and not being able to get a hold of enough people to make things happen. You think you can get a hold of anybody at any time in Major League Baseball, but I got to think that this is like, it's like any career, any job. Sometimes people are unreachable, and you get to this time of year, it's kind of crazy. The good teams are going to be active, but there'll be some teams that just might snooze through the next 10 days. I like Paxton. I think Paxton was really good. I think we are, 20. I hopped on a podcast this week to talk some fantasy baseball. We were talking about third baseman, and I want to give that podcast a shout out real quick. I posted it on there, and let me get the profile, but I want to give a shout out to the podcast I went on because it was a lot of fun. Really did a deep dive into it. It is the Turn 2 Podcast. They are on Twitter at the Turn 2 Podcast. Check them out. Matt Williams is the host. Matt WI77IAMS is his Twitter account. Does a great job of breaking down players. You guys maybe already know the Turn 2 Podcast. You may already know Matt Williams, but I went on there. We were talking about 2019, 2020, and what 2020 did to some guys' value. And here's the thing about James Paxton. Would you take 2019 James Paxton? He went 15-6 with a 3.82 ERA, had a K rate of 11.1. You want that? I think anybody wants that. But 2020 happens. He gets hurt. He doesn't have a chance to get back. And now all of a sudden he's got to pitch for scouts and pitch for teams to earn a spot. It's just, there are so many people, so many players just are going to need a mulligan from 2020. And Paxton, I feel like, is one of them. Paxton lands on a team. I think you get 2019 James Paxton. That is my feeling. Paxton was drafted by the Blue Jays in 2009, but did not sign. You're right. I do remember that. What team will be in Vegas? Who knows when that happens? I know, NFL's got one. Kind of think all of the leagues. And NHL has one. NBA hasn't done it yet. MLB hasn't done it yet. We'll see over time, probably. How many leagues can Vegas support? Or how many? That's going to be the question. Is NHL and NBA it and it dries up? That's going to be the thing. Or NFL. Ken Giles, 2-year rehab deal, 2 years. I don't know. I think they move on from Ken Giles. I think that there's just a lot of options out there. They saw some guys this last year, Dolis, and they re-signed Dolis. They're probably going to give him a chance to start the year as the closer. So I think they can move on from Giles. Elliot, welcome back, buddy. I think you can move on from Ken Giles and roll with Dolis. Sign Soria. There's a lot of guys. The Mets did a nice deal with Tyler Duffy. Not Tyler Duffy. Was it Tyler Duffy? Elliot, facts check me here. Was it Duffy? No, Trevor May. They had a nice deal with Trevor May. He's a good pitcher. He can earn some saves. He gives them a safety net in case Diaz implodes again. So I'd like Toronto to do something like that. Go get a guy that has shown that he can close. It hasn't been a full-time closer, so you don't got to pay him like a full-time closer. I like that. I like Trevor May. Let's see. Hand to the Angels. Potentially. The Angels need to add to that bullpen. When they signed Iglesias, I went and looked at the Angels depth chart, and I was shocked to see there were like 4 guys there. So they're going to need to add to that bullpen for sure. They do need to add some lefties. Who cares for the Jays? Who closes for the Jays? Alex Manoah. I don't think we'll see Manoah in 21. I think that Manoah probably spends a year. Manoah definitely, there's a lot of guys that their arrival in Major League Baseball was delayed by the situation not having minor league baseball in 2020, and I think he's one of them. Even if they were playing in that, in those little camps, that was nothing. That wasn't competitive. They were trying to make it competitive. That wasn't competitive. They weren't facing 200 guys that they aren't familiar with throughout the course of a minor league season. So it was just a mess. Want the Mets to sign Hendricks. I mean, that would be putting a ton of money into that closer role. That's the only trouble there, right? Because the other thing for the Mets is they do have some fallback options, I think, with the current situation. Let me pull up the Mets depth chart real fast. I want to look at that bullpen real quick, because they've got a lot back there. So you got Diaz. Elliot, Diaz was better last year, right? You got May, you got Familia, you got Betances, Gesellman. If I am right, didn't he close some games out? He's kind of gone back and forth, hasn't he? It's been a couple years since he was closing games. So yeah, we only saw Gesellman 6 games last year. Okay. But, they got so many options that I think they don't go and get somebody like Hendricks because of how Diaz pitched last year and all of the backup options they have now. If Diaz struggles, you got May, Familia, Betances, Gesellman. So there's a lot of options there for them. Jordan Romano can close for the Jays. Yes, he can. There was some hype around Jordan Romano last year, and I think that Romano's young and is only going to get better. I'm looking forward to seeing Romano improve. Romano's good. Let's see here. How trash is Detroit going to be? Detroit, Detroit's in a tough spot. The Tigers. Let's look at the depth chart just to feel good about our own teams right now, because I think a lot of fans in here. We got a lot of Blue Jays fans, we got some Mets fans, we got some Red Sox fans, some Braves fans. At least we're not the Tigers. You can think about that when you go to sleep and when you wake up. At least we're not the Tigers, because there's no hope in sight. Casey Mize came up and was underwhelming. You hope Mize and Skubal can lead the way. Boyd is just a home run machine. The bullpen is a mess. They got nothing in that David Price deal a few years ago from the Blue Jays. Daniel Norris has not panned out. Those are the kind of moves you need to play out to be good, and it didn't work out for him. They're paying Cabrera a ton of money, and he isn't productive anymore, so it prevents them from doing things. The farm system, after the promotions of the pitchers is thinned out a little bit. It's still okay, but it's just tough to be Tigers. It's tough. They're not going to spend money. They'll be back in a few years for sure. Right. But see, that's the thing. Torkelson is probably a couple years away. I think the Tigers just got to get through that Miguel Cabrera contract. And once that's done, just watch. That Cabrera contract is going to be done. He'll be off the team. And then just like magic, the Tigers will start winning. Let's see. Trent Thornton, probably a bullpen arm. They need another pitcher. Right now, Thornton is listed as a Blue Jays starter. And that's hopefully going to change. A nice guy. I think he fits well in that clubhouse. But they need to replace him. Trent Thornton is not the starter on this team if the team is going to make a postseason run. You use the regular season to get your seeding right for the playoffs, to try to give you the best opportunity. Obviously, you wouldn't see Thornton in the playoffs, and you need something better to improve your chances. Cecil Fielder, hey, man. Blue Jays, Tigers fans, I think we can all agree Cecil Fielder was a good time. Miggy Hall of Fame then? Miggy's a no doubt Hall of Famer for sure. Hall of Fame first ballot. Renee, always laugh when fans bash Alex Anthopoulos 2015 trade. I know, Renee, 100%. Alex Anthopoulos, look what he's gone and done in Atlanta. He's been aggressive. He's made moves. They have won. They are poised. to just be the toast of the National League East. He did everything right in Toronto. You guys can go back if you have some time to kill. At the beginning of 2020, I did a Blue Jays top 10 moments of the previous decade. And just the moves that Alex Anthopoulos made, I put in there because he drafted, he got Vladdy. He went out and got Vladdy. The things that he did, the trades that he made, we really didn't get burned on anybody he gave up. He signed the right guys. He did the things to put Toronto in position. Shapiro, when he came in and berated Anthopoulos, which ultimately was Alex's ticket out, it was a huge disappointment. That was awful. Did he kill the farm system though? I mean, who did he? Now you could say that when he gave Hoffman to the Rockies, when he gave Norris to the Tigers, maybe they didn't do their due diligence. They didn't do the right job to continue to develop them. So maybe Hoffman and Norris have a different career track with the Blue Jays. But when you see what those guys have gone and done elsewhere, I just don't feel like he really did much. Now, right, there wasn't much in the farm system, correct. But that's when you're winning. I kind of feel like sometimes those two things go hand in hand. There are some teams that can balance it very well. The Rays can balance that very well. They can win and they can develop the farm system. But Alex Anthopoulos is definitely a win guy now. He and I share a similar philosophy. The prospects are great bargaining chips. Unless you've got a Vladdy Guerrero, unless you've got a guy who's a top 10 guy in all of baseball, I think they're expendable. R.A. Dickey for Syndergaard. Well, that's true. Syndergaard, though, I mean, let's look at Syndergaard because you bring up a good point. I hated R.A. Dickey. Boy, that frustrated me. I did not like that deal. And I also think that you guys got to refresh my memory. Was he the architect behind that Roy Halladay deal? Because that deal sucked. The Blue Jays looked like they were getting something okay. It was such a disappointing deal. So you guys, let me know. Was Anthopoulos behind? Kyle, you might know better than me. Was Anthopoulos behind the Halladay deal? Because that sucked. But again, that was going the other way. That wasn't him trying to acquire a stud. That was him trying to acquire prospects. Again, that's why you trade your prospects. The Phillies got Roy Halladay and the Blue Jays got hosed. Trade your prospects, people. Syndergaard, because you bring up a good point. Syndergaard was hot there for a minute, right? But 2019, 10-8, 4.28 ERA. You got injuries lingering. He was great in 16. He was great. 15, 16, got hurt. So that's the thing. He's getting hurt. 2019 wasn't good. I think we're still writing the book on Noah Syndergaard. So I hated the R.A. Dickey deal too. I mean, listen, I'm not trying to defend the R.A. Dickey deal, but I don't think Syndergaard is awesome anymore. He was awesome for a time. It would have been nice to have Syndergaard on those teams in 15 and 16, but so you're right. You're good there. Right. Clemens wasn't a trade. Let's see. Traded the Yankees. Let's see here. Yeah, R.A. Dickey. I hated R.A. Dickey. That was so disappointing. Roy wanted out, so no reason. Right. I mean, that's the other thing. Roy made it clear. So, for the Jays to have gotten, even though they completely fell apart, some prospects in return, there was little bargaining, few bargaining chips that he had to deal with. Our guy did there. Anthopoulos. Let's see. What was the full haul? Where was it? There we go. Travis d'Arnaud, Kyle Drabeck, and Michael Taylor. Michael A. Taylor? No, Michael Taylor, who went to Oakland and is out of the league. D'Arnaud's been good. We just couldn't develop d'Arnaud. And Kyle Drabeck totally flamed out. Kyle Drabeck was a head case. That's the kind of stuff we need to know about. Alex offloaded the Vernon Wells contract. Yes, that was a great deal. That was another one of in my the deals Alex Anthopoulos pulled off that made the top 10 of my Blue Jays moments from the last decade. Getting rid of that Vernon Wells contract was great. It gave them financial freedom to do a lot of stuff. So anyway, yeah, the Anthopoulos situation, he's done great for Atlanta. I liked what he did for Toronto. I think if he had stayed in Toronto, I think Edwin would have been back the following year. I think the team would have stayed competitive. Let's see. Taylor was flipped for Brett Wallace, and that didn't work out either. The Tulo was disappointing. I mean, Tulo did give us a little bit. Like, we got something out of that, and the Rockies really didn't get anything. Flip for Ghost. Ghost is trying to come back as a pitcher now. Let's see here. Mark, I'm going to get back to your comment. Would you want Josh Bell on the Jays? Who'd you trade to get him? I am a Josh Bell fan. I like him. I wouldn't give up a whole lot, though. I wouldn't give up a lot. And right now, we kind of need to keep first base reserved for Vladdy. That would be the only thing there. Yeah, I know. Tulo hated here. Tulo ended up, what is it? A wolf in sheep's clothing. Good riddance. Good riddance. Goodbye. Let's see. Worst trade of the decade was the Cano trade. Well, it looks like it. It certainly looks like it. Now Klein could come up and be terrible. Like, that trade is still going to be, evaluated. That we still have to see that all come together. Diaz, they wanted a closer. Diaz blew up. When they got Diaz was lights out. But so I was disappointed. The Kalenic thing, we'll see if he is what he looks like when he gets to the big leagues. Joe Adell was not ready. We'll see what Kalenic does. And then you've got, let's see, Justin Dunn. We'll see what Justin Dunn does. We'll see on that deal. It doesn't look good. You're right. But we'll kind of see. We'll kind of see where that goes. Ghost for Devin Travis was a win trade. Yes, it was. Anthopoulos is mint. I like him. Can never do a trade with the Braves, right? There's no way Anthopoulos would give the Jays an honest trade with Shaskins in the building. Let's see. They broke Diaz, dude. Was amazing what happened. Closers implode. That's why it's hard. That's what makes it a bad trade. We don't know what Kalenic's going to be yet. What, in my mind, makes it a bad trade is you went out and traded for Robinson Cano, who at the time was like 35. You traded for a closer. Closers always implode. Unless you're Trevor Hoffman or Billy Wagner or Mariano Rivera, closers always implode. So to give up the top prospect like they did, that's what makes it brutal, I think. Yes, he would fleece Atkins. Yes, he would. Yes, we're going to wake up tomorrow and we're going to hear that the Atlanta Braves have traded Kyle Wright to the Blue Jays for Bo Bichette and Kevin Biggio. It's going to be so disappointing. Billy Koch, yeah, that was something. Those were the dark days, right? That was 99 to 04. Man, those were some dark days. I did not enjoy much of the Jays experience at that point. That was tough. That was really tough. Let's see. What happened to Billy? He went to Oakland after he left Toronto. It was pretty good. Saved 44 games for them. Why couldn't he do that for us? Yeah. So let's see. Bob File follows me on Twitter. Gotta tell me who Bob File is. Let's see here. Oh, I remember this guy. You're going. Bob File. Okay, 60 games in 01 for the Blue Jays. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention apparently in 2001. All right, let's see. Let's see here. White Sox. Anybody want to talk about the White Sox? See what they're doing with the top international signing there? I mean, if that guy Cespedes is good, I'm gonna be afraid. What is it? Yolokoi? I probably butchered that. But yeah, I mean, going out and getting the number one prospect on the international market, Cespedes there, good move. I was looking at him a little bit. I need to watch some video on him. I saw that right before I hopped on here, so I haven't done much video, so I don't have his pronunciation right. But I did look at his numbers. He's as far as prospects go, right? He's I think he's 23, 24. So you got to think he can't be too far away from joining the big league club. Could be 2 years away from joining the club based on his age. Let's see where I just had that up. Where did I put the Cespedes numbers? There it is. Top international prospect. His grades. He's got a 55 power, 55 out of 80, and he's fast, 60. So when I look at the grades, I kind of look for who's got 60. 60 and up. 60 is good. 70 is really good. And if you hit 80, that's insane. So 60 is good. He's got 60 out of 80 run, 60 out of 80 arm, 50 hit, 55 power, 55 fielding. Pretty good. That's pretty good stuff right there. Now, where he will land when, Baseball America and all these other guys put out their, top 100s, I got to think Cespedes will probably be, he'll be top 50. I got to think he's top 50. Just how high up in the top 50 does he go? And then when, 23 years old, I got to think he's hitting for the White Sox at 25. If you collect baseball cards, if you collect Bowman, you're going to want to be watching, getting your hands on that in the summertime. Better center fielder, Springer or Beltran? I think it's close. You probably saw Beltran more than me. I like Springer. I would go Springer, but I think there's some recency bias there. Have the Jays finalized Manuel Beltre? I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen that. I know he is, was he the number 2 international prospect right now? I want to say, or he's up there. I'm not sure. No, I'm thinking of somebody else. I'm thinking of a different guy. I have not seen anything about that. Jason Dominguez. Yep. All the hype around Jason Dominguez sent Bowman baseball card stock soaring. Jason Dominguez was it last year. So this is fun. Anything else? Let's do this. Let's do a quick recap of the run. Anybody that's here within the last 15, 20 minutes. We talked about DJ LeMahieu to the Blue Jays. The Yankees, does that shift the power of balance? The balance of power, or start to in the American League East? With the baby Blue Jays coming up, there'll be a fun team. That lineup is long with DJ LeMahieu out there. George Springer. Is it the Mets or is it the Blue Jays? What are the domino effects from that? If Springer goes to the Mets, then the Blue Jays got to go in for DJ. If they can't get DJ, I think the Blue Jays go for Lindor. There's a lot of domino effects when LeMahieu or Springer sign. The Red situation is disappointing just from a baseball standpoint to go as far in as they did 2 years ago. Now, who saw the pandemic coming, right? So you have a situation where with the Reds, they're looking like they're giving everybody away. And that's just disappointing because this pandemic thing isn't going to last forever. God, don't let it last forever. But you got to think that there's a possibility, a situation where later in the 2021 season, you'll have fans. And certainly we all hope that in 2022, those stadiums are packed and the Reds are going to be making a ton of money. So there's just some disappointment there. The Reds are mortgaging the future right now, and it's going to hurt them. This is the kind of thing you're going to have a tough time to bounce back from. We talked about Iron Man. Anybody that's wondering what Iron Man is, I am working on a project. Probably going to take a few weeks, maybe a month or so. I want to do it right, where just a fun piece of content during the offseason. We're talking about a signing, taking a look at the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the characters that we're familiar with: Iron Man, Spider-Man, Thor, Captain America, Ant-Man. By the way, Ant-Man is totally going to be Jose Altuve. But we're going to go do some kind of fun little project that I hope you guys enjoy at some point. And we were talking about who is Iron Man. And Iron Man, not in the sense of consecutive games played, Cal Ripken Iron Man, a new age Iron Man, an Iron Man that is based on, being a leader on the team, being strong, being fast, a little cocky. And we were talking about, we did the poll. Acuna, Bellinger, and Machado are the top 3 vote getters. So keep an eye out for that. We talked a little bit about that earlier as well. And we did the projections. If you missed the projections, keep an eye on it. This video will be up after we shut down, and you'll be able to go back, and if you missed any of the projections, check them out. We did Bo Bichette, Corey Seager, Marcell Ozuna, Luis Castillo, Trevor Bauer, JT Realmuto, DJ LeMahieu, and George Springer were the projections this time. So keep an eye out, because we will come back. We did a Red Sox outlook. Specifically for Stin 1, 2, 3. And we also did we talked about the Braves for Jonathan Bills. The morning that I do these live videos, these nightcaps, I will go on and do a poll. I'll kind of give you what the rundown is going to be, what the lineup is going to be, and I'm also going to ask you, what you guys want to talk about. And there's the opportunity to comment. Let me know what you want to talk about, and I will put something together. As long as it's early enough, as long as we don't get overwhelmed, we'll put something together. We'll talk about it. So we did Red Sox for Stin 1, 2, 3, and we did some Braves talk for Jonathan Bills. And that was that. You guys, it's been good. I like the conversation that we're having this evening. And again, we're going to make this Tuesday thing a regular. Let me get that piece of art out of the way. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe and find me on Twitter. I want to talk to you guys more on Twitter too, at Jim Riley Live on Twitter. And if you're into the baseball card hobby, every now and then, occasionally I go on a little binge where I post some baseball cards. You can find me on Instagram at Daily Baseball Cards, and we collect some baseball cards every now and then too. So this is just going to be a fun space that we're going to spend for Tuesdays, and I hope that we can just make it something that continues to grow. And I really appreciate you guys being in here last week. I see a lot of familiar people back from last week. Thank you. James, you were here last week, I'm pretty sure. Elliot, I'm pretty sure you were here last week. Kyle, I know you were here last week. D'Arcy, I'm pretty sure you were here last week. I just want to give some shout outs. T Brinks, I think you were here last week too. Mark, did we see you last week? I'm not sure if you were here last week. Renee, guys, and if you weren't here last week, we'll be back next week. It's gonna be the same kind of thing. Last week we went last week we went till 12:30. And I started to lose my voice. Elliot, yes, you were here. Yeah, I started to lose my voice. So I'm going to not go as long tonight because I want to keep my voice. Live pack opening. So one of the things we will do, if you guys are into baseball cards, I do plan on just, when there's some relevant stuff that comes out on a Tuesday night, we'll open some baseball cards. Why not? We'll focus on the baseball content that's pertinent, and we'll open up some baseball cards. So I'll do that. Anybody that's into cards, we'll do that. So that is, I think we're going to wrap it up there. Again, I want to keep my voice. I don't want to lose my voice. Thank you guys for coming in. I do appreciate it. Again, we had a good stream tonight. Thank you all for joining. Keep an eye out next week. I do plan on being here. I will have the poll in the morning. So, comment about what you want to talk about, and and we'll talk about everything. I hope everybody that celebrates Christmas has a great Christmas in a couple of days. If you celebrate Hanukkah, I believe that has just wound down. I hope you had a great Hanukkah. All of that. It's the holiday season, baby. Hope you have a good time. You stay safe. And I hope to see you guys next week. We'll do it again. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. And we'll talk to you again. We'll talk to you soon. Take care, guys.